So, new Necron Models 9th edition are coming, and we've now got some close-up footage of the new Necron Monolith. Now, I voted the old Necron Monolith as one of my top 5 epic Necron units. So what do I think of the new one? Is it yay or nay? It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. And if you're new to the channel and you want to learn about Necrons and more, then please subscribe and hit the bell button to turn on all notifications so you don't miss an upload. Right, Games Workshop have given us a closer look at the new Necron Monolith. I'm very excited to see this model close up because, as I said, it's my favourite Necron miniature of all time. When I first started in 3rd edition, this tank was huge. It was a massive vehicle and it was our only tank in the army. Well, now there's a new model and it's getting even bigger. So let's have a look at the Games Workshop preview for this model and see what we think of it. Of course, we don't know too many rules. We are going to speculate a little bit regarding the rules, but what we're really here for is to take a closer look at the miniature. Okay, so we're going back to a slightly older post. However, this is the first chance I've had to make a video on it, and this was the Indomitus launch party preview where we saw a little bit regarding the codices which are coming, in particular of course the Necrons one, which has now been confirmed that it's coming sometime in October. We also saw some snippets of the Codex, in particular this page here which is on the new Dynasty codes. Now I've seen some blurry screenshots of this picture and also some people's interpretation of what the rules are actually listed as. However, I'm going to wait to make a video on the Dynasty codes. I'm sure Games Workshop will do some community posts for each Dynasty as they come out with the new Codex. It's what they did last time. So I'm going to wait until we get a clearer image to actually really have a look at the Dynasty codes. However, here is a picture of the new Codex. I have to say I'm really liking it. It does appear that the rumours were true. We got that exact image on there. Looks pretty cool, it looks fresh, and it looks different from our previous Necron Codexes, which means we're going to be able to find it easily when it's on the shelf. And then they previewed the new Impulsor Gladiator tank, which we are not interested in whatsoever, so we'll scroll past that and we'll get to what we are interested in, and that's the brand new Necron Monolith. The Monolith is back and it's bigger and more beautiful than ever, which hopefully means that we're also going to get some new good rules for the Monolith, because the Monolith in the last couple of editions has really suffered. Now I think the reason for this would be the same as Warriors, where Games Workshop just didn't want to sell too many models. They just wanted to trickle out the last of the stocks that they had, making way for the new units. And yeah, the Monolith, a brand new unit, and now we can see it in its full glory. Now I have to be honest, I've been on the fence about this miniature, sometimes falling one way and liking it, and sometimes falling the other way and not liking it. And as a fan of the original model, which, to be fair, one of the reasons for that was the green rods, because I'm a huge fan of the green rods, and of course that big green crystal's been replaced by what I'm describing as a golf ball, which when I first saw it on a very blurry image, it looked like just an orb, which I actually quite liked. And then when I saw a sharper image of it with the golf ball design, well, that puts me off of it a little bit. I think just a straight orb might have been quite good, but then that may have been too plain. So I can see why they've added some detail to it. I'm just not 100% sure I like it. However, let's have a read of what they say. This rendition of the Monolith is a nightmarish floating sentinel that truly embodies the alien horror of the Necrons. Look closely and you'll see the depth and detail this kit possesses. featuring weathered stone and unfathomable technology, a vast wealth of internal sculpting that brings the monolith to life, the iconic image of a Necron warrior emerging from the portal of exile. Now in the live stream when they were previewing this is something which they were talking about, and I do actually really like it, how the monolith now draws you in to the miniature with a lot of detail. You've got the outer shell, and then you've got a layer of black stone, and then you've got the portal in the middle there. So the model does really draw you in, so you can see all of that detail. Now they also said that the Necron Monolith is going to be able to go toe to toe with a knight. Now that's an interesting statement. Now what do they mean by that? Do they mean the size of the miniature, or do they mean in terms of the rules? Will it be able to go toe to toe with a knight? I certainly hope so, and it's very difficult to speculate on any of the rules at the moment, so we're not really going to touch too much on them, but well, I think it's looking very promising for the Necron Monolith, and as a new model from Games Workshop, I'm sure the Monolith rules will get a lot better than they are now. Okay, so let's have a look at the closer pictures. Now, one thing I don't particularly like about the new Monolith is the battle damage, the chipping on all of the edges. It's on all of the edges, literally, and it's quite bad. I know that the new miniatures have battle damage, they have sort of wear and tear, but it seems quite excessive on the Monolith. And I must admit, I'm not a huge fan of that. I like the old design of the Monolith. As I said, it was my favourite model. And seeing all of those straight edges damaged, well, it's hard for me to get used to that. Now, of course, this is one of the side guns, and it seems like we've got two different variants, which is very good, but I also think that sometimes Games Workshop will change the weapon options on a new model to try and stop people from using their old miniatures and trying to get them to buy new ones, so they give you different gun options, etc. So the new model has these guns, which are the same as the previous one, but also they have these brand new side guns. It's going to be interesting to see what the rules are for these. We then have what is a very cool portal of exile. So I do like the green portal that we had previously, however this does look rather epic, and apparently you get two different portals in the kit, one with a warrior coming out and one without a warrior coming out, which is great. So if you build two monoliths, you can have them slightly different. I really like that idea. That's a nice touch, Games Workshop. I also like the little staircase which is coming down, which reminds me of the Silent King, because he's got those sort of steps coming down. And then we've got a picture of the back of the monolith, the back of the golf ball, and there is a canoptic creature of some description there, which looks like he's got two charging things coming down. So does he really have to charge that energy orb for it to work? I must admit, this thing here I don't like. I'm not a fan of this. I have no idea why it's there. I don't think it needs to be there, and I'm seriously considering probably not using that on my miniature. I'd love to know what you think. Do you like that canoptic thing sort of doing something to the energy ball? My mind boggles why they've done that. And then the next picture seems to be the bottom half of that canoptic creature, where you can see he's wrapping his tower around that orb. It's just rather odd. I must admit, it's one thing that I'm not liking about it. So as you can tell, I'm still getting used to this miniature. There are some things that I like about it and some things that I don't, or at least I don't at the moment. I always say you have to build and paint a miniature before you can pass full judgment. Not a huge fan of the chipping on this monolith. I think it's a bit over the top. I think they could have just toned down the chipping a little bit. I love the portal. I love the black stone that's within the miniature as well. I'm just not quite sure about the top section with that orb. I'm not sure if I like the orb or not. I'm also not sure exactly how I'm going to paint that thing. And I'm pretty sure that I don't like the canoptic thing on the back, unless someone can convince me that that looks cool. Now, one thing which is quite interesting about this new miniature is it's got a base. Now the original Necron Monolith actually has a hole in the bottom to put a flying base. Can you believe it? It's one of those little flying stands. Of course, no one ever did that, and the rules actually indicated that the model didn't come on a base. It was actually supposed to be on the ground. It just got a bit confusing with the line of sight rules that were around at the time, so GW stated that it's basically on the ground with no base. However, this now has a base, and of course we got a different set of rules now. Now I get asked the question quite a lot, can you use an old monolith for the new monolith rules? The older monolith of course is going to be slightly smaller, however it's still very usable. You can still use it even though you've got a new set of rules and a new model. The old models are still usable. You may have to put it onto a base the same size as the new model. That's something which I'm going to be looking to do, and we know that the 4 side guns, well, also there's a new version of those, so we may run into trouble there, although it depends on the gaming group. I mean, you can easily proxy them if you're playing with your buddies and you just say, look, these have got these guns on, and as long as everyone knows, it shouldn't be a problem. When you go to a tournament, it might be different because they tend to be what you see is what you get. So you may have to just play the monolith with the guns which are on it. Right, and then we have a classic image of the new monolith with the Necron warriors coming out and more monoliths in the distance. A very, very cool image. It's bigger, it's more detailed, and it's even more dangerous on the tabletop. Part transport, part fortress, and capable of going toe to anomalous geometry with knights and other super heavies. So not only do they say it in the stream, it's actually in this post as well, which bodes very good for the future. So hopefully this thing is going to be good on the tabletop. And in terms of the miniature, whilst I'm still sitting on the fence a little bit, I'm sure by the time I actually have this new miniature in my hands, it's going to be a yay for me. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below. Do you like the look of this new Necron Monolith? And if you fancy watching some of my Necron top 5 videos, well, here they are for you to enjoy next. Beam me up.